All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the presentation. We're going to have kiisa Corporation go ahead and do our presentation on IM customer service. And then the email that you received about this presentation, there was a little bit of information about kiisa Corporation. However, there wasn't too much information about Sharon and David, so I'm going to give you a little information about the both of them. Sharon is the co-founder and CEO, chairwoman of Board of kiisa, and the creator of kiisa Training Institute. And she obtained a master's degree in elementary education from Southeastern Louisiana University. Sharon is the co-author of their newly released business book and training guide entitled Customer Management, the Kiisa Service Cycle. She's a business leader, having held executive positions with large retail corporations in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas. She was specifically hired by these organizations because of her success in creating and implementing sales and professional development strategies for the executive management teams and their sales forces. And David is the co-founder and COO, board director of kiisa, and the creator of the Speakers Bureau for Education and Training. He attended Southeastern Louisiana University and the University of South Alabama in the study of liberal arts. David is the co-author of the newly released business book and training guide, Customer Management, the Kiisa Service Cycle. And he has served as Vice President of Operations for a national biomedical firm in the areas of executive management, training, sales, operational budgeting, public relations, and marketing. He has also held executive positions with 4 regionally based and nationally recognized nonprofits in Louisiana and California. And I have the pleasure of knowing these two personally and in the business world, and they are a great team, and they bring a lot of great resources to the business environment. So at this point, I'd like to welcome Sharon and David.
Thank you very much, Natalie.
Hello.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Natalie, can people talk to me as well?
They can. Right now, no one is muted.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to hear who was out there. If they could just tell me their name and the company they're with. Anyone can start. Okay. Okay, thank you, Rachel. Rachel just texted me because she doesn't have a microphone. And Sally, can you hear me? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move forward. Maybe some people don't have microphones. Like Natalie said, Sharon and I are the authors of Customer Management, the Kiisa Service Cycle, and we want to go over some targeted points today with you from the book. We are a training and consulting firm. Kiisa Corporation was founded by Sharon and myself in 2010. We saw a niche in the market for inspirational and motivational keynote speeches and training, predominantly training, that we wanted to fill. And in the last 4 years, we have been working with companies that we've chosen and that companies that have chosen us. And some of the things we're going to talk about today from the book are the opportunities that each one of us have in business to select what we're doing in business and to make it meaningful. And that's what Sharon and I have basically done. When I said niche market, we wanted to get out there and train in our own style. Sharon has spent a good number of years in business as well as in academia, and I've spent a good number of years in the nonprofit sector and in business. And from that, we've learned you absolutely need inspiration, motivation, and education when you're working in the training environment and when you're working in the professional environment as well. We offer on-site workplace training. We also offer organizational grant writing, and as you know, we are keynote speakers. This is our book, Customer Management, the Kiisa Service Cycle. Why did we write the book? We wrote the book because we know that in America and in this region, all over our country, customer service management and technical tools are lacking. Then we spent 2 years of researching across the world. We did a lot of research through universities. We did research through J.D. Powers and Associates. We did research through the World Economic Forum. We pulled research from MIT, from the Sloan School of Business, from Stern School, New York University, looking for why is our customer service failing in a lot of businesses, a lot of organizations. One piece of interesting research that we came across was, why are people negative? Why do people hone in on the negative things? If you see our media, you will notice that the media is always slanted towards stories that are sensational, that have some sort of a negative drive to them or a negative impact. And that research that we studied out of Harvard shows that we lean as human beings more toward listening to the negative, operating within the negative. So if that is true, if that's a model that stands true, then it stands to reason why customer service may not be as stellar as it can be. Because we're dealing with human beings. Human beings are delivering the customer service. And Sharon and I talk about this a great deal throughout the book. Throughout the book, we talk about relationships, relationship buildings, and kiisa Corporation is actually built on the foundation of strengthening and building effective relationships. And that's really the main thread throughout customer management, the kiisa service cycle. Now this, as Natalie said, this is a business book and a training guide, and we wanted to give you an overview of just what the book is all about, how it can be effective for you. There are 3 foundation areas of kiisa service cycles, 9 customer management principles. What Sharon and I did when we were approached to write this book, we agreed to writing the book, number one, because we wanted to have a product that we could go out into our business as an academia with. But moreover than that, we wanted to be able to tell from our experiential journey the story of customer service as we see it. So we were given 100% carte blanche to put in this book what we wanted to put into the book. When it came time for the review and the edits, the only edits that were done to this book were semantics or grammar. None of our ideology, none of our principles that we set up were touched, which we're very proud about. So I want to go into, rather than going into all the 9 customer management principles, we wanted to go into the 3 areas that they cover. But I want to tell you first, before we do that, this is a kiisa service cycle. These 9 customer management principles are wrapped around the customer, the product, and the service. And what we mean by wrapped around, it's a cyclical effect. It's counterclockwise. Like most things in life, things are in a cycle. The customer, and behind customer, product, and service, we have the relationship in the kiisa service cycle. And that's because there is a relationship for each one of these principles. Like in one area, we talk about price, how the price affects the customer, how the price affects the distributor or retailer or organization that produces the product. The relationship between price and customer, for example, doesn't always mean that the customer is in your establishment because you have the best price. You may have the best product. You may have the best service. But the principles kind of wrap themselves around each one of these: customer, product, and service. And then as you go through each principle, you realize that, wait, I'm on principle number 7, and I'm in product, but product relates to principle number 1 that identifies with customer. And then you're in principle number 9 in service, and you realize, well, wait a minute, this principle wraps itself around principle number 4, which has to do with product, and that's exactly what we're trying to do here, is show people that there are relationships between the customer, the product, and the service, or you can reverse that and say the service to the customer to the product to the service. You can twist these all around, and the main point here is that we have to start looking at business a little differently than we do to survive in the changing economic environment of America, in the changing cultural environment of America, changing business models in different organizations, looking at the customer, the product, and the service individually and then collectively, and then inserting the principles that we talk about in the book is the most effective way to operate a business today. Some of the things that I'm going to switch to. Go ahead.
As far as the business book too, the training guide, this can be used by trainers also because each chapter has an activity that goes along with the principles that are taught in that particular chapter. And then we have some case studies that are in each chapter. And then we also have a personal touch of stories of our mother, who was a great businesswoman and had different types of businesses, such as a restaurant. She worked at the post office. She won awards for selling newspapers. I mean, she was just into every kind of business you can imagine, and has been a great inspiration to us. And so we have some stories in there about her also, and some of the things that she had to go through as a businesswoman. So this is a good book for just about anybody in business, for trainers, and it's really, it's been an inspiration to us too, as well as we've gone and done the different research. We've learned so much from this. So I'm sure that would be very helpful to others if it's been helpful to us in addition.
That's true, Sharon. One of the areas that I was just going to touch on was in the area of customer service surveys. One of the groups that we looked at really heavily was J.D. Powers and Associates. And most people relate them to cars, you know, because they give out the car awards, etc. But they also have a tremendous, tremendous amount of work that they have done for different corporations and organizations in the field of customer service in the format of their surveys. So when we're talking about these different principles, as Sharon mentioned, we injected into this book the case studies, for example. We injected into the book the customer service surveys, why you should do those, employee satisfaction surveys, why you should do those, when it's appropriate to do those. So we didn't just overlay 9 principles of customer management from the top of our head. For each one of those principles of customer management, we went through to see, okay, what is Google doing in the area of customer service? And we have a case study from Google. And then we realized, okay, what are some of the product negatives in an organization? What can happen in an organization to drive consumers away, quite frankly, and we used the case study from Enron. And then we have Cisco, which talks to the world of technology. So we really tried to spend a great deal of time in our research. First, we overlaid what we knew about customer service and customer management. And then we integrated into that all these items that we're talking about to you. So we don't want to sound like we're pushing this book, but I really want people to understand that this book is a good foundation for anyone, number one, to understand customer service and where customer management is born. And number two, it's an advanced read for those people who think that they're in business and they understand everything there is about customer service and customer management, because I can guarantee everyone that none of us do. You know,
always something new to learn.
Correct.
Always.
And there's a section in there that we speak specifically to culture. You know, what is the culture of your business? What subcultures do you have that might be acting? And of course, this occurs within any business that has 5 employees up to 500 and higher. You know, so you really have to do a study of your own business when you're dealing with customer service to say, how do I break my business down and understand the people that are working in it? Because business is about people. Let me say it again, business is about people. Your product is secondary. If you don't have personnel, or if you're not the right person to be out there talking about your product in the correct manner, to build excitement, build innovative thoughts among people, and get people to come in and really care about your product and care about your organization, you're not going to make it. And that's some of the research that we found too, is that it all comes back to people. I am customer service. Why? Why'd you label this like this, Sharon and David? Did you just want to put a flashy title out there? No, no. We believe, we have always believed in customer service from when we were very young, because as Sharon said, our mother was a businesswoman. She's still alive, so I don't want to say was, but she was a great businesswoman because she always understood that people come first. I am customer service. You are the first person often that people are going to associate with a product. If Sharon and I went out there dispassionately speaking about Kiisa Corporation, nobody would believe in Kiisa. But every time you see Sharon and I in a public or professional or personal setting, we are always talking very big, very highly, very motivated, very inspiring about Kiisa Corporation because we believe in our brand. We understand who we are, we understand where we want to go, and we believe in customer service because why? We believe in people. One of the sections of the book that we talk about, and I'm going to touch on this because it kind of speaks to people, is a section we did in management in the book, and it's on micromanaging. Micromanaging research is shown, and I know there's a lot of people out there that think if I control my environment, I can control the sales of my product. I can control the service coming into my environment if I control my people. And you're wrong in that thought process. Our research that we share in the book proves that. It proves that it is the antithesis of stellar customer service. Because when you micromanage, you pull away the control, and it's not control, you pull away the creativity of your people to be able to speak about your product or your service in different ways. I am customer service means you are the person, whether you're dealing with your staff, whether it's the frontline staff dealing with the customer, whether it's you dealing with your board, no matter what the relationships are, I am customer service means I take it upon myself to put my best foot forward to build relationships effectively, to make sure that my relationships come from a place of honesty, of truth, that the loyalty is going to be garnered because people believe in me, number one, as a person, and believe in my product behind believing in me. So if they believe in me, they know I'm not going to lie about my product. Why am I customer service? Those are just some of the reasons why. If you are not prepared to be out in the community and be the front person for your product and your service, you don't need to be working for that company. Because you are the person that everyone is going to see, trust, and believe in for that product. I am customer service. Say that to yourself right now. I am customer service. Relationships, managing, and me. We've talked a little bit about relationships. And I can't, again, say enough, and neither can Sharon. I'm 52, and Sharon is almost 61. We have spent all of our adult lives in a managerial position, all of our adult lives, since we were out of college. In that time, we have seen a wildly array of people. Some of them have been excellent as bosses. Some of them have been exemplary in their customer service delivery. And some of them have been failures. And the two of us have fallen into each one of those categories as well. It takes a lot of looking into yourself and looking at yourself in order to understand how you can have more effective relationships with people. The first place to start is within yourself. In the book, we really dissect this in different areas. But the overview we wanted to give you today is that everything starts with you. And then how you manage yourself. Are you appropriate? Are you inappropriate? Are you a screamer at people? Are you somebody that looks into the eyes of people? Do people trust what you're saying to them on a normal basis? And I'm talking personally. And then when you move into the professional environment, if that trust isn't there personally, how can you expect the trust to be there from people professionally? It's all about me first. And that's not in a selfish context. All about me, from where Sharon and I speak of, is building yourself to the best place that you can build yourself before you put yourself on the market, before you expect to go out there and deliver a product or a service to others. You have to first look at yourself and say, all right, what are my strong suits? What are my weak points? How do I manage myself?
And when you look at yourself, also, you look at yourself and say, do I really care about the people I work with? Do I really care about the customers that I'm going to serve? Do I care about the product that I'm selling? Because in order to have those right relationships and be able to manage well, you have to care about others. Not just yourself, but you have to care about others and what you're dealing with.
Okay. Now there are 4 areas of, and again, all of this talk that we're giving to you today is coming from our research. You know, I'm going to back up a second. When we talk about relationships, managing, and me, these are things that a lot of people in Harvard, in the business arena, at MIT, at New York School, Stern School, they've all looked at these things and they've realized, you know what, now there's a different school of thought. There's a different school of thought, and that school of thought is, what is the emotional intelligence that we're dealing with of people? And that's what we want to talk to you about now, the 4 areas of emotional intelligence. The first area I wanted to talk to you about is self-awareness. And we kind of touched on this a little bit, and you'll notice on this slide we don't have the Kiisa Corporation logo. The logo is SB. We do a lot of speaking about emotional intelligence, and we do it from our Speakers Bureau of Education and Training, where we actually go out and we talk about life management skills. And in those life management skills, we do this a lot with businesses, and we do it before we do our trainings, so that we can get to who are the people that we're working with. You know, what is their mental capacity? You know, not so much their IQ, but what's going on emotionally with them. Again, in our research, this school of thought, it's called EQ. Emotional intelligence is really coming to the forefront, business and personal. And the first area is self-awareness. Self-awareness is simply being in tune with your emotions, enough to understand how they are affecting your thoughts, your behaviors, and your actions. A person should know their weaknesses, like we said a little while ago, as well as their strengths to find their confidence. The second area is self-management. I love this area because I have to work on it a lot. This is all about control of the impulsive feelings and behaviors and learning to manage emotions in a constructive, healthy way, and knowing when to take self-initiative, follow through on your commitments, and to be ready. Then actually adapt to changing circumstances. And I don't know about you, but that's hard for me. Change is not always easy for me, but that's something I've identified within myself so that I can prepare myself when there is a change coming, then I can prepare for that change and take appropriate actions so that I don't fail or falter when the change is occurring. Social awareness. We could talk on social awareness for a week straight. That's some of the part of the research that we did was about everything occurring now in technology. You know, what's making us socially aware? Is it positive? Is it negative? But social awareness is being able to understand the needs, concerns, and emotions of other people. Did you hear that? Emotions of other people. Realize their emotional cues, adapt comfortably to social situations, and recognize the power dynamics in a group or organization. And when we talk about recognizing the power dynamics, we're not suggesting to anyone. As a matter of fact, we suggest you don't do what I'm about to say. We don't suggest that you insert yourself into a business group or organization where you do not belong, where you do not feel like you can be a contributor, because that's just as bad as not being social. So you have to be aware of these things when you're in a social environment. If somebody came to me and shoved a business card under my nose when I'm having a business conversation with 3 or 4 colleagues, I am less likely to even know who that person is when my conversation is over, because I might find that behavior rude. So you have to look at those things when you're talking about social awareness. And then the last one is relationship management. Now this one's important. They're all important, but I really love this one. Understanding how to develop and maintain healthy and lasting relationships. You have to communicate with clarity, motivate, inspire, and influence others. Operate appropriately with a team environment and manage conflict resolution. One of the areas that we have found in our research that businesses are weak in is conflict resolution. And a lot of times that's because there might be cliques, there might be subcultures within the culture, there might be people that show bias or favoritism, and those are hard things to resolve when you're in a business. Well, David, how does that affect customer service? Because the internal customers, the ones that are working in your business, those are the people that first have to be served well in order that they can go out and serve the external customers, those buying your product, effectively. So if you've got all these negative things going on in your workplace, and it could be a workplace of 5 people, like I said before, or 2 people. If it's larger, if it's 100 or 200, then exponentially the problems get worse. So you have to look at the emotional intelligence of those that are working with you and around you, and yourself. Hear that. If I have any managers, supervisors, or CEOs on this line, hear that first. You should be the example to your people. If you're finding areas of weakness in your emotional intelligence, you must address that so that you can portray to staff, to your internal customer, effective ways of handling emotional intelligence, effective ways of being for the customer. Those are the areas that we wanted to cover today on the book. We had a hard time deciding which areas to cover because there's so much in this book. Like I said, it's a great foundational tool for people starting. It's great for those that are advanced. And Kiisa Corporation, we would love to work with any of you in the training aspects from the book. So now we're going to open this up. If you're interested in getting in contact with us, this is our information right here. Phone number, our website, my email address. Sharon's email address is the same as mine. It's just sharon@kiisacorporation.com. If you want to order our book, you can order it from Esquire Books, Inc. And now we're going to open up the floor to questions. Natalie?
All right, you guys, if anyone has questions, everyone is unmuted, or you can type your questions below in the little box section at the bottom. We'll wait just a few moments to see if anybody has any questions. No one has questions? All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. David and Sharon, thank you so much for your time and dedication to customer service. And this webinar was recorded, so we'll be putting that on our website and sharing it with you guys. And if you want to share it with any of your coworkers or colleagues, please feel free. And again, David and Sharon, thank you so much. We look forward to more coming from you.
Thank you. And thank